Hey guys, it's Russell here with Clever Tech Solutions, and in a recent video I was showing you guys how I had created a .NET wrapper class library around the Zillow API, and it was created in C#. And if you come to my website here, you can click on this and you can see a working version using the class library on the web. As soon as that pulls up, I'll show you that example again. I'm using GoDaddy to host this, so sometimes it's just pretty slow. But I created a separate video sort of talking about this more in detail. If you're interested in the website of it, you can go back and watch that video. But I had a customer recently ask me, what all is this good for? The code that I wrote, and I just wanted to create another video showing you a couple examples. So all this up at the web on my website at the moment is the ability to do a simple, what I call a simple search, but it's really using the Get Search Results API for Zillow. So that's just one of the few the APIs they have available. It allows you to get some basic home valuation results that we're looking at right here. But the whole idea of creating a .NET wrapper class library is so that you can use it in any type of .NET sort of situation. So in the actual solution itself, I do have a little console application here, which I've called test, and you can see that a lot of these are commented out, and then a few of them are not commented out, and it's just a one line of code that is actually accessing the API. So in other words, if I wanted to get just a Zestimate on a property, all I've got to do is pass in the API key, the Zestimate ID, and then just a Boolean value whether or not I want to return the rent Zestimate as well. This one here is what I use in the web application. It's just the search results. It's just going to get regular search results, and then I hard coded, and right here I've hard coded in a actual address. We could get a chart. I'll show you an example of the chart in a second, and comment that out. Deep search results. Let me show you an example of that. That'll give you some more information about a property. So all I'm doing is I'm passing in an API key, an address, and I'm going to run this in the background. Now, because this isn't hooked up to display anything, I'm going to run it in debug mode so that we can come in and actually see what properties are being returned back to us. So let me run this. This type of scenario might be useful if you've got an application that's running in the background. You need some type of batch situation to take place. You may, it's actually against the Zillow, it's against their guidelines to store this information offline anywhere. So technically I don't think they really want you to use anything, I'll be honest with you, anything outside of a web application. But there may be scenarios when you can get by doing that. Now, I think I just skipped right over what I wanted to show you. Let me run that again. But I'm trying to think of a scenario where you might want to run a kind of a you got a bunch of properties in an Excel file, and you need to run some sort of batch process, and you'd like to flag certain properties, I suppose. And you wouldn't necessarily need a web application, just something like a console application that would run in the background. So let's do this again, and I'll show you the results we get back for this one property. I might have to do this a couple times. It seems like whenever I do it in debug mode, sometimes it'll freeze up on me when it's trying to make the API. No, it did okay. So if we go in here and we look at this search results, we can see it right down here below what we got returned back to us. And we're going to get a little bit more information rather than just a property. Now, what I call principal is really the principal property. So we get back our ordinary information like our address, then we get our latitude, longitude, and the pretty common information such as the links, local real estate information, the rent estimate, and Zestimate. That is all available on the online version I showed you, but some of the additional stuff that you get is not much on this, but it'll tell you that it is a single family. You do get a FIPS code, which is sort of similar to a postal code. The extensions gives us a little bit more information about the house itself. We've got 1 bathroom, 3 bedrooms. It's about almost 1,500 square foot. It's sold in 2014 for $87,000, and tax assessment, and then tax assessment year, and then when it was built. So that's pretty useful information there. So there's an example of using the API, in a console application. Let me show you one more that I wrote, and this is really crude, but this is a standalone application that I'm just going to return some Zest. No, actually, I do. I think I'm using some deep search results as well on this, but. So I'm using some third-party controls by Infragistics to kind of get the ribbon control going on up here. Basically, we're going to open up well, here it is here. I'll show it to you. This is a Excel file that I got from SouthCarolinaForeclosures.com, and we can see some houses that went into foreclosure from Dorchester County. Dorchester sits just above. It was really north of Charleston, so it sits above the uh, the city of Charleston, and you got some nice places up there like Somerville. And so we see these properties. Now, in this situation, we see, I guess, the judgments and tax value. So we get a lot of information from there, but a lot of times people, real estate investors, they don't have all of this to go on. They don't really not familiar with the property. They might want to import this into something like this application here, where they can get some information on each property. So we'll do that. Never mind that error there. It's just testing in the code. Normally we wouldn't want to show all of these columns in our grid view, but I'll show you the ones that we're most interested in. We just want to see the address, maybe the city, the zip code, and that would be it. So if we double click on a couple of these, not all of them are going to show up. Normally, obviously in a actual application that you give to a customer, it would look a lot better than this, but you can see where I've hard coded some stuff over here where we're going to get address, city, state, get a chart, some features if they're available, the last sold price, a description if it's available, and if there's a picture available, we'll see it right here in the middle here. So let me go through a couple of these because I know that not all of them are going to turn up a lot of information. I might even get an error or two in a couple places because I just threw this together. There you go. We got a little bit of information on this property in Somerville. So this is actually this beautiful home, corner lot. That description I think is coming from either. It may not be the deep search results. Let's see. It might be the actual updated details. Let me do a see where that object's coming from. What we're getting. Where we're getting that information. Edited facts, home description right there. So this is actually coming from the Get Updated Property Details API when we see a description like that. The chart is just what was that as well? That's the chart API. So that's just an image just being returned back to us. If you've gone to the Zillow website, you're familiar with that. The description, 4 beds, 2 baths, the square footage, where it's located at, this last sold price, and there's more that we could put here. I didn't put everything here. A link to the XML if we actually wanted to see that, and it would be nice if we had a picture, but you're not going to have a picture for all of the properties. You could also actually put in the Google Maps there, or different maps API, similar to what I did over here where you got a street map view. You could just probably put an iframe or something in there, or I'm sorry, not an iframe, but just make a web request. Let's see if we get a picture on something. Here again, you see the similar information. There we go. So now we got a picture, got an address. So if you're a real estate investor, and you had a lot of properties that you got it in something like a CSV or Excel file, and you want to import it into a program that allow you to, to query the Zillow API, return you a little bit of the results. You're not storing them; you're just viewing them. Um, and you may want to, put some additional features over here on to flag your XML file, to resave it. So uh, you don't want to go visit this property or email it to someone or share it with someone. This is, something like this could be very beneficial. You get to see what last sold price. Obviously, you probably want to see some other stuff, tax value, what it might rent for, and if it's something you want to, um, you know, look into, visit, or possibly purchase. So, lot of stuff you can do with a standalone application, obviously. And so this is just a crude example of working with the API inside just a little .NET application that I created. I would assume you could probably use it within VBA as well if you just have an Excel file. I haven't tried it yet. I know you can. I've done it before with just the regular Zillow API, but I would assume you'd be able to use the wrapper classes that I wrote as well in case you wanted to do that. And that would go for any really Microsoft application that VBA. So there's a couple examples, couple additional examples along with the website where just sort of advertising or exemplifying what I was showing in the first video. Here again, if you ever want to contact me or have any questions, you can. Best place would be to come to over here to the website. I don't normally reply. I'll check into this channel that much, or on a regular basis to reply to emails. But come over here and you can hit me up on Facebook, LinkedIn, or email me directly, or go to my Upwork profile where you can hire me. So thanks for watching. Talk to you later.